gave them all 20 to 90 years in prison. Now you think about that. Houston Crime Lab, thousands framed indiscriminately. The police chief had to admit it because his job's on the line. He's claiming, oh, I'm going to fix that problem. So this is why we restrict the scope and size of government and its power over us in our lives. Because we know there's criminals on the street, we know there's bad people, but they don't have the massive mechanisms, the machinery of government and military and militarized police and prison complexes to oppress at levels never before seen. I challenge members of this distinguished body to be part of history, to not abstain, to get out on the field in your life, and you'll truly be alive. To not sell out to this corrupt system. You know, I spoke right before Ron Paul just a few weeks ago, right outside Austin. He talked about how his poll numbers just go up and up and up, and the support just gets greater and greater and greater as he resists all of this, and as he says no to this, and as he throws the lobbyist out of his office. The truth is, when the whole world's sold out, you guys are going to get more power out of not going with the system. This thing is in terminal velocity. This thing is falling down around itself, the corruption.
Now that's how it's done right there. And as long as we're talking about city council meetings, I want to show you another example that wasn't scripted by Hollywood. This is from a former Marine Corps colonel who was stationed in Fallujah and trained Iraqi soldiers. And he is warning us all that the Department of Homeland Security is building a domestic army.
What's happening here is we're building a domestic military because it's unlawful or unconstitutional to use American troops on American soil. So what we're doing is we're building a military. And so what we're doing here, and let's not kid about it, we're building a domestic army and we're shrinking the military because the government is afraid of its own citizens. We're building an army over here, and I can't believe that people aren't seeing it. Is everybody blind? That's all. I'll take it.
So as you can see right there, these city council and town hall meetings are often very, very important. After all, it's because of meetings like these that we've been able to successfully remove dangerous water supplies from various towns and communities across the country. I mean, we've got a lot more work to do, but hell, it's a good start. And even if you don't succeed, at least it's on the public record. And it gets people to think about your cause. I mean, it educates people and challenges the council members to do the right thing. And it forces them to make a moral decision as well. And in the process, you can even find out which one of the council members are in bed with corporate interest. I remember back during the fluoride battle here in Austin, Texas, it wasn't the scientists or the medical professionals or the citizens against fluoridated water who acted like fools. No, it was the former mayor of Austin, Texas himself, who not only sided against removing the poisonous toxins from our water supply, but he graciously gave us his middle finger in the process. Classy guy. Once again, reminding us about the character of the onslaught against us. Now, speaking of character, David Cross says that the main character in his film Hits is actually a good and decent man, but who's been influenced by right-wing hate speech and the conservative media. Well, I'd like to think the same thing of David Cross. I mean, deep down, he's probably a decent guy. Sure, shit is funny. I mean, I'd have a beer with him. But unfortunately, he's the one who's been influenced by the left-wing liberal media, not to mention the most corrupt presidential administration in the history of our country. That's right, even more corrupt than Johnson or Nixon or Clinton or even Bush. And I was thinking that, you know, back when George W. was president, do you know that people back then, they used to actually accuse Alex Jones of being a crazy liberal? And now that Obama is in office, he's suddenly become this crazy right-wing extremist. Funny how that works. So enough already with the false left versus right paradigm. Both parties are corrupt to the core. They have been for some time, and, you know, they are controlled. They're bought and paid for by the global banking cartels and the military-industrial complex. So wake up, Mr. Cross. I'm not sure if you're really from Hollywood. I think you, my friend, you are stuck in the Matrix. Hey, that's going to do it for tonight's broadcast. The INFOWARS Nightly News will return, Lord willing, tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, Texas time, that is. Until then, have a blessed evening, and we'll see you back right here tomorrow night. See ya.
From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new INFOWARS Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
You are watching the INFOWARS Nightly News, which airs 7 p.m. Central at InfoWarsNews.com. And your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.